Hello, welcome back to the Danger Zone podcast. I am your host, Elbert Danger Kim, and welcome back to the sweet sounds of the Danger Zone. That's going to be just you and me today. It's going to be an intimate podcast, just you, me, this lubrication, and and the soft, silky sound of my voice. So I know this lubrication doesn't help because it can't make its way over to you, so I hope you have your own. I've got mine. We're gonna do it right. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good podcast. I also got some ginger ale. I like my bubbly. You know me. Let me drink some right now. Yeah. I love the way that tingles my throat. Okay. All right. This is a little too sexual. Okay. This is a little too intimate. Let's not get this intimate. Welcome back to the Danger Zone podcast. I'm your host, Albert Danger Kim, and we are on episode 10 now, which is nuts because I started this podcast 2 months ago and it hasn't felt like 2 months. I've just been doing this every week. It's been a fun little hobby on the side. Had many guests come on. So far, I think I've had like 4 or 5 people join the show, and that number is only going to go up. Also, let me know if you want another guest to be Phil. Phil's been on I'm just going to have Phil keep coming on the show as a running guest. And if you guys don't like him, just say something, and I'll just give him the permanent boot. Sorry, Phil. I gotta meet the demands of my fans. All 3 of them, okay? So we're gonna take a vote. If 2 of them say you can't come back, then I'm sorry, man, you can't come back. You can't come back to the show. I have a very low standard for who I bring on the show. That's not to say anything to the people who have been on the show. I just mean that if you're wondering, if I want to be on this podcast, what do I gotta do? Well, all you gotta do is just message me, and you gotta be able to have a microphone and a computer, and boom, you can be on the Danger Zone podcast. This could be you. This could be you. You could be talking to all 3 listeners. I was going to say viewers, but it's not view. They're not viewing anything. They're just listening. All 3 listeners of this podcast, they can be your audience. You can captivate 3 people just with an email. I'm only an email away. So message me. You could be on episode 11, episode 12 of the Danger Zone podcast. Don't want to be? Then fuck you. It doesn't matter because I'll just find someone else to be on. Maybe I'll even have Phil back. But, okay, so I've been pretty lethargic. Everyone's been kind of slow nowadays because, one, it's winter. It's fucking cold. I don't really operate well in winter. I'm Asian. I don't have hair, okay? Sue me. And we just had Snowmageddon up in here in the East Coast. I'm not sure if people on the West Coast or people in Australia knew about that, which they probably did because, it's America. We're the shit. Everyone knows our business, what's going on here. Yeah. But anyways, we had a blizzard hit the East Coast. I live right next to D.C., and we got 30 inches? I think we had 30 inches of snow. And, it was crazy. It was nuts. I was snowed in for the past week going stir crazy, getting that cabin fever, itching to go outside, wanting to go play in the snow, but instead just shoveling it like a slave. Well, because the alternative is to have my enfeebled mother go out there and do it herself, which I did have her do. I'm just joking. I did not do that. I did it because I'm a man of integrity. But basically, I just sat inside for a week watching Netflix and chilling by myself. Not with my mom. Just me. It's cool. All right? And plus, why does that even have to mean that? Why does that have to be a sexual connotation with watching Netflix, okay? It's I gotta feel every time I tell people I'm just gonna stay home and watch Netflix, I gotta feel ashamed, like I'm doing something wrong. I'm just watching TV, son. I'm just watching shows. I'm just watching Daredevil, good show, by myself, like it should be. Because when you're with people, you should be watching TV. You should be talking, do some shit, okay? Sue me. Where am I going with this? Anyways, yeah. Basically, everyone hit the main points of Blizzard Pandemonium. They all forgot road rules. They all forgot how to drive. The homicidal vehicles trying to kill you on the road. I couldn't tell if it was just because they were incompetent or if they were actually trying to murder me with their car. Because I'll be just parked at a stop sign, watching as a vehicle comes straight at me, and then stopping. Finally, even though there's no ice on the road, it's like they were thinking about killing me. It's like they were looking at the snow. It's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, so pure, unlike my soul. Maybe I should kill this man in an SUV with my Hummer. And then at the last second, they're like, oh, wait, there's not enough snow yet. I've snapped out of it. Oh, what was I thinking? Sit and get out of me. I'm going to let this man live and drive home and possibly do this 5 more times. So, people forget how to drive. No biggie. That's point 1. Point 2, everyone just flocks to the supermarket, including myself. Because you know who likes to procrastinate? I like to procrastinate. I don't like to do things planned out. I mean, just look at this podcast. It's just a testament to how fucking edgy and spontaneous and off the top of my head I am, Wow, it's good, except when there's a blizzard coming and everyone else acts the exact same way. So you go into the supermarket, and thankfully my grocery list didn't have bread or milk on it. I don't understand why everyone just happens to be out of bread and milk. I don't know, maybe it's because my family's lactose intolerant. Maybe it's just because we eat rice instead of bread. I don't know. My list consisted of Doritos, potato, like vegetables, fucking like rice, maybe some beans, eggs. Instead, if you walked in there, people were hitting the booze. I was also hitting the booze, but you just need. It's like a couple days. If you give me like a 24 pack, I'm good. I'm good for those days. I'm not an alcoholic. But these people were going ham on that booze section. I'm not joking. They're like 50 bottles of wine. Then they gotta get, the Coors Light, because fucking Coors Light. You gotta wash that shit down with something, like that smooth, light, shitty beer. Oh yeah, I gotta love it. And then the massive lines in the supermarket to check out. It was great. It was fantastic. It was like I was at a theme park, except with a lot more anger and pandemonium going on out there. And it's strange when the blizzard actually hit. It hit on a Friday, right? And I just got out of work early because no one was gonna come in. My bosses happened to be nice, and they were like, "Hey, it's gonna be crazy." Because we know it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. It's already crazy. So you should go home. Be safe with your family so that you don't have to be around the craziness and possibly die. And I was like, all right, cool. And what I do? First thing I do is go straight to the supermarket and be around the crazy and almost die. And when you look at the people around you, you can see the hysteria kind of spreading. Like you look outside, you see the snow coming down, you see it's collecting on the roads. People already know. Everyone's been hyping the fuck out of this blizzard for weeks. This blizzard was about to drop his mixtape or something, man. Like he had his own hype crew. Like everyone on the news, everyone on fucking Twitter, on the Twitter sphere, anyone on social media was hyping the shit out of this snowstorm. So even if it came up and then nothing happened, it had the biggest ego, man, just coming in. Like everyone was scared of it. First flake that touched the ground, it's like you hear that that thriller music going on. And everyone just kind of looked at each other and were like, it's coming. They just anticipated the worst. So the hysteria just spread. You can see it spread throughout the supermarket. One, because there's just a lot of people, and the hysteria always, it's like a stampede in there. But then also you can see it on the roads. I know I said earlier, people are trying to kill me with their cars, but you can see the panic in their eyes. Normally people would just wait for you, but you start to see the selfishness and the fight or flight instinct come out as they just want to be first and kill people. And if they kill someone, it's just it doesn't matter. Snowmageddon 2016, I have an excuse. It was self-defense. You ran over a little girl. It was either her or me. Yeah, you just see that spread. I had a little bit of it too. It was it wasn't hysteria for me. It was more of just annoyance, general annoyance, and also a little bit of amusement. Just standing in the middle of a crowd as panic and craziness goes on is kind of amusing. It's kind of amusing. It's very dangerous too because you want to get out of there and away from that. But at the same time, also pretty amusing. As I can rant about it for 5 minutes. But yeah, I survived Snowmageddon 2016. It was named something. I think they named this one. I didn't even know we name blizzards, but this one had a name. It starts with a J. I'm going to just call it Juan Pablo. I think it's Juan. It could have been Jonas. Oh, it was Jonas. I think it was Jonas because I faintly remember calling it the Jonas Brothers Storm, but it could have been Juan. I want to believe it was Juan just because I like the name Juan Pablo. I want it to be like Juan, like he was just coming in wrecking shit and going "Cómo estás?" instead of just some pussy ass Jonas brother coming in being like, "Oh my god, life is so perfect. I need problems." Okay, yeah, I survived the storm. Hopefully you survived the storm too. Digging out your car and shit. I actually have a funny story of digging my car out. So, I could have continuously shoveled my driveway the smart way as the blizzard went throughout the night, as some people did, because, they're smart and they also have, tons of energy and they're not lethargic and procrastinator like me. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm hardcore. I just waited till the storm was over next day, noon, went outside and started shoveling that shit. Yeah. It was like almost 3 feet of snow on my driveway. And the thing is, I have a tiny driveway, so in my mind I was thinking, I could knock this out in an hour. I'm 24 years old. I'm physically fit, and it's like what? It's like if I could draw a comparison of my driveway. My driveway is like just 1/4 of a tennis court. It's tiny. It's like it's just a townhouse. It's like a 1-car garage. So I thought, hey, it'll be easy. It'll be cool. And then right around noon, when everything was sunny outside, all my neighbors came out to start digging out their cars, and it was like you couldn't even see them. You saw heads poking out because the plows didn't even come through my neighborhood. So I go out there, and the first thing I notice is my neighbor to my right shoveling his snow off of his driveway onto my garden area where my tree and my bushes are. And that didn't rub me the right way. It just didn't. Because every year they've been doing this shit, and we have tons of snow. And granted, I know because we're close proximity and we're townhouses that there's gonna be some spillover. But I had to say something, because last time he just dumped all his snow in my yard and was just like, didn't give a fuck. He had 0 fucks were given. He was just like, you know what? He made eye contact with me and was just like, yeah, I did that shit. And he went inside. And so I was going to say something. So I did say something. And it was when everyone was out there. And just to set the scene, imagine everybody shoveling their driveways. It's a townhouse, like a row of townhouses across from another row of townhouses. And everyone's out shoveling their driveways. And most of my neighbors happen to be Indian. I don't know when the Indian takeover happened, but I came back from college, and all my neighbors, who was like a nice mix of all different ethnicities, were replaced by Indian families. And so you have all their kids just like playing in the snow outside, and the dads all just sitting there shoveling. And so my neighbor, who happened to be Indian, I said to him, "Hey, could you mind not shoveling your snow onto my tree?" And the first thing, you say that to someone, you expect like a rational response, like something normal, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, is that bothering you or something?" No, that was not the response I was given. I was just kind of confused. The first thing he says to me when I say that is, "Are you using it?" And I was like, "What?" Like, when someone says something to you that's so illogical that you kind of take a second for it to register, because you just don't understand why that would even be a response. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like saying like, "Hey, what's the time?" and someone going, "It's blue in the ocean," and you're like, "What the fuck does that have to do with?" And then you're like, "What?" See, it's the same thing with this. I'm like, "Hey, could you not shovel your snow onto my tree?" And he goes, "Are you using it?" Yeah, I'm shooting a fucking commercial right now. No, I'm not. When would I ever use my tree? Like, do you use your tree? I'm playing on it right now. I should have just jumped on it and started like swinging from the branches. Like, "Look, I'm having a great time. You can't shovel your snow on it now. Oh no, you're gonna ruin my good time." Of course, I'm not using my tree. But anyways, I was kind of taken back. I could already tell from the start that he's gonna be a dick about this. So I'm like, "Hey, come on, guy. You can just not shovel it on my tree. Just push it down towards the street like most other people are doing, and we don't got a problem. We don't got a problem, right?" And he's like, "Nah." I'm like, "What do you mean no? This is my property. Don't shovel your snow onto my property." And he's like, and he just points at the wall and draws an invisible imaginary line that's on my property. And he's like, "Yeah, no, that's where the line starts." I'm like, "No, dude, that's not where the line starts. It starts right here with the brick wall ends. That's your side. Just shovel it down there." I was trying to be reasonable. And then he just started bringing out random shit. Like, when you're arguing with your girlfriend, they bring up stuff from like a year ago. He starts bringing up stuff from fall. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, your tree leaves fell on my driveway." Again, I'm just sitting there going, "What the fuck does that have anything to do with this?" He's like, "Your tree leaves fell on my driveway. Where were you? Where were you, man?" I'm like, I swept those up eventually." He's like, "Yeah, but not right away. And it stained my driveway." And I was like, "Okay, man, all right." And you know the difference between that and this is the trees fell off. I mean, the leaves fell off my tree naturally. I didn't shovel my leaves onto your driveway. You, however, are shoveling your snow onto my driveway. Where my tree, not onto my driveway, where my tree is. You're doing it consciously. And so we're going back and forth. We're arguing. Things are getting kind of heated because I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The kids are all just like standing around, like saying "World Star" and like taking snaps. And then as I'm doing this, I don't know why, but every one of my neighbors who was Indian started like moving in closer and closer towards my driveway. And they started eventually just like fucking gangbanging me. Like literally. Okay, not literally, but they were all just yelling at me while I was trying to argue with just one of my neighbors about putting snow onto my tree. And then at one point I was just arguing with my neighbor, and I can hear from behind him, his hype crew now it was one guy just going, "Yo, build a wall. Build a wall then. Build a wall. Build a wall." And I'm just like, "Whoa." Okay, I had to like stop talking to my neighbor and just address him because he kept saying it. I was like, "What the fuck? What? You want me to what?" And he's like, "Build a wall." I'm like, "You want me to build a wall? Why?" He's like, "Just build a wall. You don't have to deal with us." And I was like, "This is ridiculous." So then I switched from being a reasonable person, so I'm like, all right, if this is how it's gonna be, gloves on, let's go. So then as soon as he said build a wall again, I was like, why you keep telling me to build a wall, man? Why you keep telling me to build a wall? Is it because I look Chinese? You want me to build the Great Wall of China? Huh? What the fuck? That's racist. Why you gotta bring race into this, huh? Why you gotta do that? You don't see me yelling at you while you're shoveling your driveway to build the Taj, huh? Why you gotta do that? And he's like, oh no, that's not what and then they just start yelling at me. And then it just gets heated. And like I could tell I'm pushing buttons now. I'm not even trying to have a reasonable discussion anymore. I'm just arguing with all my Indian neighbors. And they're all just around me. And then their wives just they're like upstairs in their townhouses. They all open their windows and start like shouting out of their windows like, what's going on? So it like looks like the scene, the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, where it's like, bonjour, bonjour. And they're just like screaming at me as like their husbands are outside screaming at me. And I'm just like, whoa, 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 what the fuck is going on? And then finally my neighbor, who I originally started arguing with, sees that it's getting a bit crazy. And so he's like, finally just like, okay. I will not shovel snow onto your driveway, onto your tree. I'm like, thank you. Cool. We cool? And everyone is just like panting because everyone was just shouting for the past 7 straight minutes. And then it just kind of ended right there. It's so awkward because, you know why it's so awkward? Because then for the next 2 hours, I was shoveling my snow with these people around me to my side in my peripheral vision after this had happened. It was really funny too because my neighbor on my left, who's like this I think a recent graduate girl, she's pretty young, she's shoveling her snow around her car and she accidentally drops it on my driveway and she was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, as if I was gonna jump on her and like scream at her for putting snow on my driveway. It was totally cool. I don't know, man. I don't know. Having neighbors sucks. That sucks. Has that ever happened to you guys? Have you ever had to tell people not to do something to your property and have them like justify themselves as if they're entitled to put shit on your property or do something to your property? Like, what the fuck? I did not expect that at all. But hey, whatever. Turned out to be a funny story. But the only thing is I can't make eye contact or talk to any of my neighbors anymore. But, you know, fuck it. Fuck it anyways, because I'm planning on moving. So, deuces and middle finger to the world. Yeah. Okay, that was my funny story. So, what else? What else am I going to talk about? Yeah, also, hey, if you got any funny stories about Snowmageddon 2016, please tweet them to me. Or just leave a message or a comment or something on one of these posts, and I'd like to hear about it. It'd be fun. I love hearing funny stories about, you know, natural disasters, like a blizzard, and all the funny things that happen in between. That's what I'm into. I just like hearing about your lives, not just mine. Surprisingly enough, I don't just like talking, I like listening. But let's move on. What I wanted to talk to you about today, or a topic point that I chose for today, is information diet. So when I was sitting inside for a week and a half straight, because it's just snowed outside, the plows were doing their work, you can barely drive outside, you couldn't even see to your left and right when you're going to make turns if a car was coming, because the snow mounds were that high, and also because people were driving like crazy people, as I was talking about earlier. And so I just spent a week and a half either at work or at home. So basically the same thing, nothing had changed. But no, I was just at home, just going ham on the internet. I didn't move. I was in a vegetative state. It was to the point where I was kind of getting itchy, like my legs actually felt itchy, and I just had to get out of the house. Then like went outside in the backyard and played in the snow and built a snowman, things like that. You know, typical things you do in the snow. But when I was inside, which is the majority of the time, I just spent it on the computer. And I'm pretty sure most people nowadays spend a lot of time staring at the computer screen. And, you know, I'll admit it, I do spend a lot of time staring at my computer screen at justly nothing. I don't really look at anything worthwhile. Half the shit I'm looking at adds no value to my life. It's just me, like, softly, like, LOL. No, I'm not laughing out loud. I'm just, like, creepily giggling to myself, like... Like, if there was, like, a live feed of me and what the fuck I was watching, it would just be constantly just me clicking. And then all of a sudden... They should really make an acronym for that. Like, just... and it should catch on. Because LOL, that's hyperbole. I'm not laughing out loud every time. Most of the time when people type something and I write LOL, it's just like... It's just me kind of... Oh, chuckle. It's just a chuckle. I gotta make a new acronym for that. Fuck. It's just too much hyperbole going on. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I spent way too much time looking at shit that added no value to my life. And then, like, I got really bad headaches. And it could have been, 1, lack of activity, and 2, because I was staring at the screen for hours on end without doing anything and drinking a lot of carbonated beverages. But I had really bad headaches. And the thing is, I didn't do anything all day, yet I felt so tired, like really, really tired. I felt very, very, very lethargic, and it probably is from the lack of activity. But then I didn't see a switch go off until I finally left the house, and I went back into the working world where I have to deal with people and interact with people. And it's funny, like, you know, when you watch movies and stuff where people go off into the wild and don't interact with human beings for many, many years, and they come back to civilization, they're like so socially awkward and they don't have to act anymore. That's how I feel every time it's a long weekend, because I stay inside, I interact with my family at best, and then I go back out. Even when I've had to order food, I'm just like, that one, give me card here, go, and I run out, and I leave, because it's too much social interaction. It feels like I'm being pushed into the pool of people. I gotta ease my way out there. Eventually, after like 3 days, it equalizes and I'm okay again. But it's how I always feel after a long weekend. It's just me. I'm a socially awkward piece of shit. But oh my god, my phone beeped. Yeah. So like, but the thing is, when I went back out into the world of people and reality and things like that, I went back to work, and I noticed my brain was just fucking on. It was going haywire. It was everywhere, and it could be ADHD, which I'm pretty sure I don't have, but it was just, I couldn't focus at all. I just could not focus on anything. I'd be talking to a customer, and then, like, my mind would just start thinking about, I don't know, beagles, or, I don't know, like, fucking the Olympics in Brazil, things like that, like, just random shit, and then it would just go back to the customer, like, oh, there's a person in front of me talking. Oh shit. Okay, I gotta type out the address. But it was insane. And for 2 days, I kind of just felt that way, and it was out of control. But it was to the point where I thought, like, maybe something's going on. Maybe something's going on in my head. I should think about it. But then after a while, I started to equalize again, and it felt normal. But then I went back home, and then for another 3 days, I just vegged out because the road conditions were bad. And then it's because I didn't have work for that weekend. It was a long weekend. And then went back out for the next week, and then the exact same thing happened. And then I was like, what the fuck is going on? It can't just be the fact that I'm not moving around, because I've done that before. But now I think was when it started to hit that I started examining what I was doing. And what I was doing was being on the internet. I'm like, okay, what am I doing on the internet? And I started to examine what I was doing. And also, right around this time, I watched this TED Talk about information diets. Please disregard the beeping. It's just people. I'm so popular. People want to text me. It's probably my mom in the other room. She's like, go to sleep. You're loud. Shut the fuck up. But anyways, this is a very long, convoluted way of talking about information and what we take in and how I realized that. So like when I was sitting and I was thinking about it, when I'm on the computer, it used to be very singular purpose. It was just one purpose of why I was on the computer. Either when I was young, it was either to play video games, which I still love doing, or to chat with people, which I do periodically on Facebook chat instead of AIM way back in the day, and or 3, to watch a movie or a video or some shit. Now when I'm on the computer, I'm probably doing all 3 at once. And it's insane. And I don't realize it. It's because way back in the day, computers could only handle one thing at a time. Shut the fuck up, phone. It could only handle doing either playing video games or watching a movie or chatting. And plus, you had dial-up. But now with broadband, you can fucking go online all the time. You can be connected constantly. You can do all those things and more. You could watch 18 tabs of porn at once. So it just sounds like a turkey farm. It's like, you could do that if you wanted to. Do I do that? Yeah, I'm a sick fuck. I like doing that. What? Everything is just, I'm desensitized to everything. I gotta spice it up. I gotta spice up my online life. Gotta do it. No. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, you can just do as much as you want online. And it's great. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's fantastic. I know last time I was bashing my episode, I believe, 7, I was bashing the idea of like social interactions being fucked up by social media nowadays. But I'm talking like about I'm not trying to bash on about the future of the internet and how interconnected we are now with being online. I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. It's great. You're one click away from everything, and that's awesome. But it's like at the same time we got monkey brains. We're so singular minded. And when you're just stretched so thin, but basically the more time you spend doing something, the more accustomed your body is going to be to doing that thing. So when I sat here on my computer, as I am doing right now, and just spent that much time having my attention divided into 5 separate things, like video game, movie, porn, chatting with people, and I don't know, reading a blog, doing all those things all at once, it just ruins your focus. Holy crap. It's like you can't have a moment of nothing. And I realized that I was so antsy. First I was antsy to get out of the house, but once I was out of the house, if there was a moment of silence, I thought I was about to lose my mind. I was gonna lose my mind. I couldn't handle it. I either took out my phone or did something, or started picking at something or shaking and scratching my neck like I need some crack. It's pretty ridiculous. And the thing is, when I look at the stuff that I'm taking in on the computer, it's just nonsense. It's just garbage. It's like most of the stuff I see is just me browsing through Facebook going like, oh, this guy doing that. Fuck that guy. Even though I'm friends with him on Facebook. It's stupid shit like that. By the way, talking about stupid shit, has anyone noticed the decline of Facebook nowadays? What the hell is going on Facebook? It used to be I logged on to Facebook, I logged on to see what's going on with people that I kind of know and kind of also just don't know. Just people that I've met in life and happen to friend request. I can see what's going on. Maybe they got a picture. Maybe they put a funny status. Maybe they want to link me something that's pretty cool. Now I go down my news feed, what the fuck, Mark Zuckerberg? What'd you do? What happened to Facebook? It's just advertisements, memes, fucking recycled Vine videos just reposted. Stuff that you would normally just find on people's YouTube channels because, there are actual YouTubers out there making creative content because that's their life and their job and their creative work, just being ripped off of the site by some random fucks on Facebook and just re-uploaded to collect ad revenue and likes. And that's just my entire newsfeed now. That's it. And it's just being reshared. It's now, instead of seeing what's going on with peeps, logging on and saying, oh, what is Andrew up to? No, it's what did Andrew watch? He watched this shit. And there's this bit by Hannibal Buress where he's like, I can't use social media because it just wastes too much of his time. And also he'd log on and just basically start hating on people. He would see something and be like, fucking Chris would like something like that. Same thing here. I totally identify with that bit, with that joke, because I'm starting to see these well, there's these pages now. So like before you could have pages for like celebrities and shit. And then you just have random pages on Facebook where if people, there's this one, it's like the love life of an Asian guy or something, and he's just this very Asian, I'm pretty sure LGBT guy or some shit, where he takes social justice warrior to a next level, and he has to just go on that crusade on Facebook, and people link that shit, and like I read that stuff, and it just sounds like a bunch of hate, like so much hate, and I see that and I'm like, oh fuck, I hate this guy, I really do, I just dislike him. Why'd you have to link that? Why'd you have to like him? Because now I kind of it's spilling over now. It's spilling over. It's projecting onto you. I don't want it to project onto you. God damn it! Why did you have to like it? Why did you have to do it? Now it's spilling over. All the hatred is moving towards you. The force, it's like some kind of fucking entropy going on. It's being directed. I can't take it back. Sorry. Now you click the like button. Can't take it back. You know, a like is forever. That's what they say. But yeah, Facebook has become that. It's become this thing. It's become the 9gag of social media. It's gotten insane. I kind of want to delete it now. I know like everyone talks about, I want to delete my Facebook. But like before, I didn't like Facebook because it's like, I felt like, if people want to be my friend, they should be my friend outside of social media. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, it's easier this way. But now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, is this adding any value? It's just noise. It's just noise that I happen to be addicted to. That's the thing. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like I wake up and the first thing I do is check my phone and see if I have any notifications. I may have one because, you know, I'm a fucking popular dude. You know, people are going to message me. It's just that's going to happen. You know, it's inevitable. People are going to message this guy. I'm too cool. Yeah, message me. I'm lonely. But first thing I check is that, and if there's a notification, I look at that. But then I just start scrolling down my newsfeed, and I end up staying in bed for like an hour after I wake up. So I'm not even sure if I'm awake or if I'm not awake. I'm just sitting there looking at my phone for an hour, going down my newsfeed, going like, oh fucking, oh this video, oh my god. Like I'm just kind of disgusted with my newsfeed for an hour. It's kind of masochistic. I don't really know why I'm doing it, but I know it's like it's kind of addicting. I don't know why. It's just like there's so much like visual stimulation and everything going on that, you know, on a day-to-day basis, it can get pretty mundane. It can get pretty boring. You can get into habit. You can fall into that. But when you got Facebook and this shit just being fed to you on your news feed, like all these cute fucking puppy videos and like reposted videos from YouTubes and Vines and people screaming at you, there's not a second where you don't have to be stimulated. Your brain is just like on overdrive. So by the end of the day, I'm already like at work helping people, but I'm also just kind of I'm never unplugged, really. I'm never really unplugged from the online world because I've just got on my phone now. I got on my phone, and then when I'm not on my phone, I come home, and I'm just reading and going down Reddit. Or not on Reddit, then I'm on Facebook, and it's just, I'm taking all this stuff, and it's entertaining. I'm not going to lie. It is entertaining. It's not just like me being masochistic going, oh, fuck this shit. No, it's entertaining. It is something to look at when I'm bored, which is most of the time. But at the same time, it's not really doing anything for me. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I don't really understand why I continue to just take in all this crap. And then I watched that TED Talk that I mentioned earlier, and it's about the information diet. And it's basically saying that, you know, just like how your body takes in nutrients, like you can't just sit and eat McDonald's and not become a fatty or like not have a heart attack. It's not gonna give you nutrition. There's nothing really enriching you or anything like that. And also, it was also talking about how our attention span, and so when you wake up, you have a certain level of attention that like you re-energize while sleeping, and it's up to you to divide that throughout the day onto tasks before you run out and you're spent and you're just like I gotta veg out, go to sleep, and recharge, so that tomorrow I can do the same thing. But when you wake up and you got so many things that are begging for your attention, like that show or these posts and like social media and like people messaging you and, you know, fucking advertisements and shit going on everywhere, you can put your attention being like it's your attention's actually just being drawn out into things everywhere. So you can't really focus on one thing with 100%. It's just kind of you multitasking the entire time and also slowly draining your capacity to think throughout the day on just random garbage. So that when you actually do have a task that's going to present itself to you and it takes a little bit of brain power, it's going to feel that much harder just because you spent most of the day using most of your brain power doing nothing. Your attention span has been exhausted because you spent it all eating candy. It's like mental garbage. It's just visual stimuli that's just entered your brain, taking your attention, and then just and has done nothing for you. Nothing. Except entertain you, which is, still something. I could make this argument about this podcast. It's really adding no value to your life. But my point that I'm trying to make is that it was kind of interesting to think about. Just what am I taking in? It's just a nice thing to think about throughout your day. You take 5 minutes, you take a step back, you examine your life decisions, you cry in the shower with your clothes on, and then, regret. But no, you could also just take a second, think about what it is that you spend most of your time with. So after I started thinking about all the information I'm taking in, what am I looking at, how much time I'm devoting to certain things, I'm actually, you get pretty sad. You're like, holy crap, I sat in front of the computer for 8 hours. When you start allotting time and thinking about time in units, you start to see how much importance you put on things, not based off of how much you care about it, but just how much time you devote to it. And if you take a second, if you just take 5 minutes throughout your day and just examine what you did over the week, what you did over the weekend, and how much time you devoted to those things and what it was that you did and how much value it added to your life. And if most of your time is just going into random shit on Facebook or online browsing Reddit or shit like that, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. If you're okay with it, then you're living life the way you want to live. But honestly, for me, it was kind of a wake-up call. I was like, holy shit, I need to start regulating what it is I'm looking at. I don't have to be reading Shakespeare and fucking, I don't know, the BBC all the time. But at the same time, maybe I should cut back. Maybe I should go on an information diet. And I have been for a bit. And it's way too early for me to say it's made a difference. But honestly, it does kind of feel better. It feels better when you declutter your head. It's when you get sucked into a pattern of thinking, it's so hard to notice because you're in it and you're thinking, and so you're not really observant. But when you take a step back and you ask yourself what the fuck's going on, and you try and build that self-awareness, it's actually kind of insane how much time you devote to absolutely nothing and how much it takes from you. If you're taking more from it than it's taking from you, then fuck yeah, keep doing that thing. If you're just bored and you're just trying to make it through, the last 2 hours of work, fuck yeah, do it. Just waste your time on that because you're wasting time at work anyways. But when you're home and you got free time and you have control over those hours and you can fill it with whatever the fuck you want, maybe you want to choose doing something else. Maybe pick doing something more fun, like listening to the Danger Zone podcast. Ha ha! I'm just kidding. No, don't do that. Instead of listening, just tell people about the Danger Zone podcast. We are on Android and iTunes Store. So tell people about the Danger Zone podcast. So I know so far the pattern for this podcast has just been me either having a guest, interviewing them, or just shooting the shit with Phil. Or these solo casts where I tackle an issue and just talk about it. But I wanted to keep this podcast genuine, not edit it, and just keep it so that I'm talking to you and it's more of a conversation, and if I happen to mess up, it's just going to be on here. I'm not going to edit it. But I think at the same time, I'm going to start changing up the format a bit for future episodes. There's things I want to write out and record over not just one take, but also for weeks, so I can make an episode about certain topics, yet let it go beyond just a conversation. Let it just go beyond me recording once in front of my computer screen for 30 minutes and really build something that, it's more enjoyable to listen to. Because, I don't have to be extreme. I don't have to be like, yo, man, this has to be completely off the dome, spontaneous, which is nice. It's good practice, but at the same time, I think there needs to be a little bit of a middle ground. And I'm starting to see that now. So I'm going to start working a little bit more and writing a little bit more for future podcast episodes to try and give you a little bit more production quality And also, I'm planning to hit the road in 2 months. So, hey, if this podcast is still in the air in 2 months, you're going to get some nice road interviews for when I meet random fucks and decide to interview them on my iPhone. But, yeah, if you got any ideas for the Danger Zone podcast, any suggestions, please tweet me at Elbert Danger Kim or leave a comment below. Today's episode, it was brought to you by Snowmageddon 2016. If you were snowed in, you got a funny story, send it to me. I'd like to hear about it. Always like hearing funny stories. It really adds a lot. Maybe I'll even use it as a bit in my comedy without telling you. Just kidding, I wouldn't do that. That would be dishonest. But, fuck, I'm desperate. I'll do anything. I'd suck your dick. I'd do whatever it takes to make some cash right now. Fuck. That's a good way to end the show. Alright, this is Elbert Danger Kim. New podcast episode coming out every Tuesday. Yeah. Well, that was a really random pause. My brain just stopped. This is what happens when you talk for 40 minutes straight. This is Danger Zone Podcast. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.